in the city of Philly, where the birds take flight. Eagle swag on the rise each and every night. Tone and Marcus got the scoop ready to ignite. From the lanes of South Street to the broad street lights. Dashing like a running back, hitting every play. Flying guys in the zone, never led astray. Talking touchdowns, talking game day. Huddle around the mic, hear what they gotta say. Fly like an eagle, soaring in the sky. Tone and Marcus always standing by. Bringing their heat, call it do or die. Philly squad, hear the battle cry. Fly like an eagle, soars in the sky. Tone and Marcus always standing by. Bringing their heat, call it do or die. Philly squad, hear the battle cry. Wingspan wide, catching all the vibes. Breaking down the huddles, catching all the tides. Every storm they face, never taking sides. Eagle vision clear with pride that never hides. Cheering loud in the vet, the links where they roam. From past legends to the young, calling it home. Weekly updates, buzzing like a drone. Deep dives and highlights of the unknown. Fly like an eagle, soars in the sky. Tone and Marcus always standing by. Bringing their heat, call it do or die. Philly squad, hear the battle cry. Fly like an eagle, soars in the sky. Tone and Marcus always standing by. Bringing their heat, call it do or die. Philly squad, hear the battle cry.
Hey,
What up?
how y'all feeling? You guys are tuned in to the weekly Eagles pregame show featuring Coach Marcus from Pro Fan, talking yours truly, Tone DeShields II from Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. Now, I know we usually do these things much earlier in the morning, right? We normally knock these out 10 a.m. Eastern time, 9 a.m. Central time. That's normally what we like to do because the Eagles have had a lot of 1 p.m. games over the past several
1 p.m.
weeks.
games, killing us.
But we have a 4:05 game today. And I know there are games going on right now. I know some of you guys are double dipping. Y'all got us on one screen here. Y'all got another TV going on this. We appreciate y'all for fitting us into your schedule. First and foremost, we're grateful for that. But you guys know the priority. You guys know why we're here. We're here to talk about your Philadelphia Eagles, who are facing off against the lowly Jacksonville Jaguars, a team that's trying their hardest to revive their season. They are 2-6. Your Philadelphia Eagles are 5-2. A tale of two teams, I'll tell you that much, Marcus.
Big time. I'm sitting here distracted. I'm watching Daniel Jones run all over the Washington Commanders. But yeah, man. They're struggling right now. Jacksonville is, but you never know. For some reason, teams get up for us. I don't subscribe to the thing of the notion of a trap game. I don't buy into all of that. You either win or you lose. You play well or you don't. That's the long and short of it. I don't trap games and all of that kind of nonsense is something they made up for people that bet. So, that's where that term comes from. So you got a job to do. You don't want to play down to the competition, but that is a real possibility. It happens all the time. But luckily for us, the last couple of weeks after the bye, we've been avoiding that. The only kind of subpar game was against the Browns. And if a couple of calls or if they don't get that play at the end of the end of the half.
Yeah. The blocked field goal.
Yeah, the blocked field goal. It looks different. So things happen, but what I've seen the last couple of games is that a team that understands who they are and what they need to do. And we've been longing for that for the past 2.5 seasons. I was reminded when I was watching the Chicago game and I saw DeAndre Swift take it down the field, and I was like, we had that. And now we got it again, except now we understand what to do with it. Now we know. Now there is no misunderstanding. I don't know why that was before, but it was what it was. That's water under the bridge. We are here now. They're taking care of business. The offense looks like they have found their stride, and they are intent on being a run-first offense. And the defense looks like they have finally figured out how to tackle, play physical. Our linebackers are playing well. Our secondary is playing lights out. and we got next man up with Isaiah Rodgers today, and I think the Eagles are going to be ready to rock and roll.
It's interesting. You know, when you look at the Jacksonville Jaguars, out of the 8 games they played, they've lost 4 of them by 1 possession.
Yeah.
So they've been in a lot of these games. They've been in 50% of their games. So although they are struggling, and there are plenty of ways to take advantage of them, this is a game that you do not want to overlook. You don't want to go into this game thinking that they're just going to lay down and die. They're not going to do that at all. Some of those guys got pride at the end of the day. So that's something the Philadelphia Eagles have to keep in mind. I have no doubt, though, that they will take care of business. I think this is one of those. I personally believe the Jaguars are running into a buzzsaw. I think they're running into a burning building. The Philadelphia Eagles have figured out exactly who they are, what they want to do, how they want to accomplish it, how they want to win. And I just think the Jaguars are running into a team that's figured it out, that's in the heat of a stride. And I just think they're just going to be another head on the mantle, if I'm being quite honest with you. But again, you don't want to sleep on any opponent. But I don't have to play. That's not something I got to worry about. Right. I think the Jacksonville Jaguars are running into a brick wall, running into a burning building. They just don't know the building on fire yet. They just don't know. They just don't realize there ain't no way out. You feel what I'm saying? So
and they having some issues. They got some issues. They got some guys hurt.
Yeah,
they traded away their best player, arguably their best player.
Yeah, their left tackle. They traded away their starting left tackle. I'm glad you brought that up. Traded away their starting left tackle. Christian Kirk is done for the season. Their starting wide receiver, or their number 1. Brian Thomas Jr., but he's actually kind of been playing like the number 1. He's questionable, but I think he'll play. They still have Evan Ingram. I believe they were dealing with some injuries on the interior of the offensive line. Those guys are questionable. They're just a mass shooting the top to bottom. On the Philadelphia Eagles side, though, since we're on the injuries, Mekhi Becton, he's been a full participant pretty much all week, Thursday and Friday, so he's good to go for today. Jalen Carter is good to go for today. Landon Dickerson is good to go. Dallas Goedert is out. Albert O is active. Darius Slay is out. And Devontae Smith, he's had an interesting week. He's been out this week for personal reasons, but it's saying his game status is unspecified. I think he plays.
Right. I think he plays too, but I'm curious as to what's going on with him. But it must be some like family issues or something like that.
Yeah. I think he plays though. He's too much of a. It's certain guys that if they miss a few games due to not games, but a few practices to personal reasons, they're still going to be ready. He's a professional and he knows how to do his job very, very well. So I have no doubt Devontae Smith will be available. But again, the Jacksonville Jaguars, they have so many players questionable. Tank Bisbee, their running back. Gabe Davis, their wide receiver. Travis Etienne, questionable. Brandon Scherf, their starting guard, is questionable. They're missing a defensive tackle. He's out for the game. Brian Thomas Jr., questionable. Their starting wide receiver. Keelan Robinson, another running back, questionable. Andrew Wingard, questionable.
Safety,
yeah. Christian Kirk out for the season. I mean, this is just they're dealing with a lot. Ezra Cleveland, their other starting guard, is he's out for the game, so they're going to be compromised on the interior. So Jalen Carter, Jordan Davis, all those boys are going to have a big opportunity today. I think if the Philadelphia Eagles dominate the trenches early in this game, this game shouldn't really be close. It really shouldn't be.
It shouldn't be. With all of these injuries, especially on their offensive line, our defensive line should eat. And I don't think they can really challenge our offensive line. We should be able to run the ball up and down their throat with no problem. So, again, I keep saying this, and I know I sound like I'm regurgitating the same stuff, man, but we shouldn't do anything different. We shouldn't do anything different until they prove that they can stop us, and nobody has done that yet.
Right.
Saquon left, Saquon right, and every now and then you sneak Jalen Hurts around and just do what you do best, man. Just do what you do best. Keep running them rub routes and all of them patterns across the middle. We had some good success after everybody was bitching and moaning about it for weeks that we didn't throw across the middle. Well, you see what happens when you get your main man back in the offense. So I think we should be fine. I don't think Nick Sirianni is going to have a letdown with the way they play. I'm with you. I don't see any reason we can't put up a 40 burger on these guys.
You said something really
especially
key.
with Shady McCoy getting put in the Hall of Fame, all of that fanfare.
It couldn't be a better weekend. As a matter
You
of
got to
fact,
put on the show, man.
what's the weather like on the East Coast right now?
Right now it is 56 degrees and sunny.
Perfect football weather.
Perfect football weather.
Okay, sounds good. It's funny. You know, I look at this Jags defense, right? And they do got some players that you want to keep an eye out for, right?
Yeah.
Trevon Walker, he has 6.5 sacks on the season. He's been their best defensive player by far. Josh Allen is actually having a slow start to his season. I thought he'd be a little bit further along down the road in the sack department, but he does have 3 on the season, Josh Allen. On top of that, they have guys like Andre Sisco and Jerry Jones who have pass deflections and interceptions on the season. They lead their team in pass deflections and interceptions. They're not forcing too many turnovers, the Jacksonville Jaguars, unfortunately.
Right.
They forced, I believe, 5 on the season, 2 interceptions and 3 fumbles. How do you think? I know we spoke about how this team really shouldn't do anything different, and again, I really don't think they should either. But is there anything about the Jacksonville Jaguars that you've seen that you feel like they should directly exploit?
The Eagles?
Yes.
Just their looking at their offensive line. They got they next man up just like everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
Except their next men up are not as good as ours. Let me say it like that. Just as a comp, I would expect them to go after Isaiah Rodgers because Slay's not starting. But they haven't watched the tape that we have, and I think Isaiah Rodgers is going to play better than Slay. So from that standpoint, I think their backups are going to have some trouble with Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis, and Nolan Smith has been coming on as of late. So everybody's trying to eat on our defense, and we should be able to take advantage of that. I don't think that their run defense is that great, so I want to see Lane Johnson and the boys take care of business. Fred Johnson just got the utmost confidence last week playing against an all-pro defensive tackle in Cincinnati with Hendrickson, man. He handled his business.
Sure
Hendrickson had 1 pressure that whole game. That's a phenomenal job by Fred Johnson, man. So his confidence level has got to be through the roof right now. But just from what I've heard of him, and this is kind of where I'm expounding on him, I don't know this, but I'm guessing everything that I've seen, his comments, things of that nature, he sounds like a well, like even keel type of dude. He don't get too high. He don't get too high on himself. He's ready to handle his business and keep it going. So we should. What's up, K-Sap? We should beat the brakes off of Jacksonville tonight, and I expect our offensive line to play premium today. That's what I'm expecting. I want to see Saquon have a 100+.
Yeah, it's interesting, right? The Jacksonville Jaguars, numerically, they are considered a top 10 run defense. They're ranked 9th in the league, giving up 111 rushing yards per game. But over the course of the last 3 games, they've given up an average of 120 over the past 3 games. In their previous game, they gave up 170 rushing yards. They're giving up 131 at home, and they're only giving up 98.8 on the road. Do you anticipate a better run defense from Jacksonville, knowing that they defend the run way better on the road for some reason?
A little bit, yeah, because they gonna game plan Saquon. So that's the only thing they can do. They still got to worry about Jalen because Jalen ran pretty well last week. So I think he's getting more comfortable, trying to prove that he's a drop back in the pocket style quarterback that can still take off on you and hurt your feelings on 3rd and mid or 3rd and long. So they have to be able to respect that. And I just think this will be a phenomenal day to really show what kind of play action we can put together. So I want to see what Kellen Moore comes up with because they are so stout with the run defense. That just means you're limiting, you're not stopping. And we all know what kind of running back Saquon is. Saquon is, nothing, and all of a sudden he pops for 50. So can they be consistent and how long can they keep it up? So I'm still looking for my expectations for our offense is still there. I still want to see Jalen Hurts throw the ball 20 to 25 times a game, and get the two. I want to see him get about 250 plus. Just like last year and in 22, when Jalen Hurts throws the ball over 25 times, that's when we see problems with him. So keep it even, and we don't need to throw that often. We really don't. We got big play wide receivers that can get 6-7 targets and turn that to 120, 130 yards and a touchdown. So I think we're in the right spot, but it all comes down to doing what we know how to do on the field. Is Doug Pederson going to have the Jacksonville Jaguars ready to deal? Are they going to throw a curveball at us or something like that? It's possible. But
I mean, when you're 2-7, you're liable to try anything.
Absolutely. I heard some people on WLP today talking about he might be coaching for his job. Like if we beat him soundly today at home, he might lose his job. And I'm like, I don't know if that will happen, because who they gonna go to and what difference would it make?
I see him finishing the season if he does lose his job. I see him finishing the season.
Agreed. So back to what I said from the beginning, man. Nothing changes. Keep doing what we've been doing. Whatever Vic had the secondary doing last week, do the same damn thing. Period. Because our defense is looking like a old school Philadelphia defense. And that's what we need. So all of them haters out there that swear they don't like Nakobe Dean, all I can say is I told you so. You got to say
old school. What do you say old school? What elements are you seeing from previous regimes, and which group are you necessarily comparing this current group to?
Well, obviously I'm gonna think about when we played, and just the attitude with Seth and Clyde and Eric Allen and Willie T and Byron Evans and all of them. It was just the attitude was there. You might get over eventually, but we're gonna take care of you. So, and I think our defense is getting to that point where Nakobe knows he can get you. He's going to get to the quarterback. Now, Josh Sweat's getting to the quarterback. Nolan Smith's getting to the quarterback. Jalen Carter's been doing what he's been doing, right? So everybody, Bryce Huff is getting home. You know what? Throw a party. So you when everybody's doing what they're supposed to do, everybody's facing the same direction, it starts to work. And that's what's happening. So I think it's more of the attitude, like we understand what we're capable of, and now everybody's playing their part, and it's everybody's paying dividends. Everybody. Cooper DeJean is better than advertised, right? Quinyon Mitchell is as advertised.
Mm-hmm.
And then CJ Gardner-Johnson and Reed Blankenship and everybody back there, everybody's playing their part. The only thing that we haven't done is we got to take advantage of those opportunities when we get for us to get turnovers. That's the only thing we haven't done yet. That's it.
I would have to agree with you, because this team has been playing significantly more physical over the past few weeks. And you're not just seeing it on the defensive side, you're also seeing it on the offensive side. I kind of feel like Saquon has made this offense way more physical, right? You're seeing Saquon not try to go out of bounds. He's trying to deliver the punishment. You're seeing that, right? And then I was watching Devontae Smith's mic'd up, and this moment, for some reason I overlooked it during the game, because when you're in a game, you're just next play. But during the mic'd up, there was a scene or a moment where he caught the ball on the right side of the field. He ran up the sideline, and instead of going out of bounds, he noticed a defender that was about his size, and he lowered his shoulder and went right at him. So, and Devontae was like, "Hey, listen, I normally don't do that, but I looked at him and said, hey, he my size. I'm gonna try him." So, my point is, there's been an attitude shift. There's been a mentality shift on both sides of the ball. These guys want to get physical. These guys want to impose their will on the opponent. And Nick Sirianni says something in the unscripted episode. He showed a clip of Saquon lowering his shoulder on that pass catch that he had. Now, we didn't get the first down. We had to settle for a field goal, but
he set the tone. Yeah.
Those little things completely shifts a mindset, and it can add up, right? Sometimes what can make, when the talent is so close, especially when you get deep into the playoffs, right? When the talent margin is so slim, now you're starting to get into mindset, willpower. imposing your will on the opponent, attitude, swag, like the intangibles start to become inflated or magnified when the talent margin gets slimmer, right? So I think this team on both sides of the ball, they're trending in the right direction, not just schematically, not just as far as being efficient, but there's been an attitude shift with this team.
Absolutely. And that comes with, because it's funny you say like imposing your will, and most people kind of take that out of context because that would imply that the other team is not doing the same thing. And you just gonna go bully everybody. It doesn't work that way.
Right.
The way you do that is everybody has to be playing their role and everybody has to execute the way they're supposed to execute. Then you see the success. So when you look at the get off, meaning if you watch film of a game, doesn't matter if you watch an offense or defense, who gets off the line of scrimmage? If you're watching if I'm watching the Eagles defense, is our defense pushing the offensive line backwards?
Mm-hmm.
You see what I'm saying? So who's getting off that line of scrimmage? Who's coming off and who's moving? Right? If I'm watching the offense, if I'm watching Lane Johnson and Mekhi Becton, are they going forward?
Or are they holding?
Correct. So if we're going forward, okay, so you can say we're imposing our will. No, everybody's executing. And you're getting your blocks and sealing your blocks, and Saquon is making the right cuts, and everything is working.
Mm-hmm.
And then now it's up to the defense to figure out how to stop it. So it's just everything is going in the right direction and everything is working. And when everything works the way it's supposed to work, it's very difficult to stop. Because if somebody does make a mistake, you still got 4 and 5 other people on the offensive line that are still doing what they're supposed to do, and they'll make up the slack. On top of Jalen Hurts can pull it and run around the end. On top of Saquon Barkley can lower the shoulder and run somebody over and just elevate the emotions of the whole offense and the bench. And you just feed off each other. So imposing your will, in my perspective, just simply means everybody's doing what they're supposed to be doing, and the offense and or the defense is executing at a high level. When you go back and watch those type of games in film sessions, there's not a lot of negative plays, and that's what you want to see.
It's interesting. Going back to the film, no negative plays, imposing your will, cleaning up the mistakes. We've seen this team, and I've spoken about this, I think, a few weeks back, how this team has slowly but surely been cleaning up the house, right?
Yeah.
They've been getting rid of the excess furniture. They've been getting rid of the trash. They've been cleaning out the garage. They've just been trimming the fat from this team, and you're seeing these guys being more and more effective, efficient, consistent each and every game. That's the scary part about this team, that you've seen an improvement from the Bucks game to the Browns game. You've seen an improvement from the Browns game to the Giants game.
Right.
And you've seen a drastic improvement from the Giants game to the Bengals game. Hence why I feel like the Jacksonville Jaguars, they've caught us at the wrong time. Maybe if they caught us in week 3, week 4.
Maybe, yeah.
Exactly. They're catching the Eagles at the wrong time, man. And let me ask you this, just to keep it on the Jaguar side. What do you think is wrong with the Jaguars? Because I was bullish on the Jaguars over the past couple seasons. I felt like the Jaguars were one of those teams that you had to buy low because the stock is about to pop, right?
Yeah.
And Doug, he won the division his first season with a 9-8 record, and then year 2, insert CJ Stroud into that division, and they go 9-8 again. But this time, Houston, Texas, they win 10+ games.
Okay.
So now they're second in the division in the 2023 season. Now we get to this season, and they're dramatically worse, but damn near the roster looks almost like the talent wise. I don't see a drop off talent wise. If anything, I feel like they've added. So I'm trying to figure out what's going wrong with Doug and the Jacksonville Jaguars. Is there anything that maybe I'm missing, maybe that I'm overlooking? And when it comes to this team, and real quick before you go, just want to give you a quick stats here. Like I mentioned, when it comes to rushing yards per game, They are allowing 111 rushing yards per game. That's ranked 9th in the league. But their previous game, they gave up 170 rushing yards, and over the past 3 games, they're allowing 120.
Who was that? Who was that against?
The 170.
Yeah,
that was against the. Give me 1 second. That happened when they faced the Green Bay Packers, and that was I think Jordan Love got hurt in that game.
Yeah,
Malik Willis
Yeah.
came in, and obviously Josh Jacobs. That was a heavy Josh Jacobs game. Malik Willis does what he does.
Okay.
As far as moving around in the pocket and being elusive. But then to take it a step further, right, when it comes to this Jaguars team, they're allowing 28 points per game, which is ranked 29th in the league. On the road, they're allowing teams to score 28 points. At home, they're allowing teams to score 27. Their previous game, they allowed 30. The past 2 games, they're allowing 27 points. And then on top of that, in the passing game, they're one of the worst teams in the passing game. They're ranked 31st in the league in passing and pass yards allowed. They're allowing 271 pass yards per game. So, what do you think is going wrong with this team that we thought was percolated?
I don't know. I can't. I say it like this: I don't know, but that's not my riddle to solve. But what does it look like? That looks very familiar, like the Eagles' defense last year, coming off of a Super Bowl trip. What's the problem? Why can't we get it together? How come we can't tackle? We got the same guys, most of the same guys that was here the year before when we went to the show. So what happened? All of a sudden, we just forgot how to tackle. We forgot how to cover. We can't. I know we had injuries, but damn, tackling is a prerequisite. So, like, what happened? All of a sudden, we don't do no motion. We don't have no blitz pickup. Like, what's going on? And just like us, could nobody answer that question? Did Trevor Lawrence just all of a sudden forget how to throw the ball? Did EDN forget how to run the ball? Did they forget how to tackle? So it's one of those things. We always say and we always joke, the other guys get paid too. But when they play in bad, the other guys get paid too. So whatever they was doing when they were playing well was probably the same stuff they doing when they was playing bad. Something is just not clicking. Just like with us this year, we won those games, but it was like, I know it just don't taste right. It's not nasty. I'll eat it because I'm hungry, but it just don't taste right.
It's off still, yeah.
Right. And then Tampa Bay happened, and it was like everybody had a relapse to the end of last year. This is the same way we lost last year. They blitzed us. We couldn't get home, and we had a relapse. Luckily, at this particular time, with Fangio and Kellen Moore and Nick Sirianni in his new role, they went back to the table, went back to the drawing board, got back to the lab, and figured out a solution. And that solution works. And to me, that's the key. Last year, what they were trying to do wasn't working. Now they've kind of figured it out. Jacksonville's still in that same boat. They still got Hines Allen and they still got good players, but they got injuries. Now it looks like they're trying to
fire
sale, absolutely. So they got some other things that they deal with that they ain't nothing really to do. So does Doug know he getting fired? Is he a lame duck coach now? I don't know.
That's what's interesting about it, right? Because I know you and I both agree that it's likely he finishes the season. It's likely. I have a hard time believing a guy of that ilk, for him to. I just have a hard time believing they fire him, regardless of what happens. But I still got to ask this question though. Maybe they don't fire him, but if they get smoked today, how much is Doug Pederson at risk of losing his locker room? If he has lost it already,
I don't know, because the only way you lose a locker room is if it is clear that you are clueless as the head coach.
Mm-hmm.
It is clear that you don't want to change. Usually there's situations where there's some obvious things that need to be done differently, but you don't want to do it for whatever reason. I always go back to that story that Barrett Brooks tells when he was with the Eagles, and I think he was with the Eagles, and the coach got fired. And he was just like, I don't know what to do with y'all. I don't know what to, like, he admitted it. Like, I don't know where else to go with it because whatever I'm doing is not working.
Wow.
So I've been a part of a situation like that where we just out. But that was a personal thing because this was when I was with, I was in the World League. Doug Williams was our coach.
Okay.
But he wasn't the head coach. He was the offensive coordinator. And the head coach started disrespecting Doug Williams. And we like, you ain't going to do that to Doug.
Are we talking about Super Bowl champion Doug Williams?
Absolutely. Yes. Doug Williams was my coach my first year with the Scottish Claymores. Absolutely. I got a picture with Doug.
Wow, that's crazy.
Absolutely, bro.
Talking crazy to him? Nah. He got too much skin in the game to talk crazy
the head, like the head coach. Matter of fact, it's funny because how this all comes full circles because the head coach has ties to Philadelphia. That head coach, his name was Larry Keherick. His dad, I believe, coached here with the Eagles. Keherick is I forget what his dad's name was. It wasn't Larry. He was Larry. I cannot remember what his dad was. But his last name was Keherick, and he I believe he coached here in Philadelphia. But in any case, he was disrespecting Doug. Word got out, and Doug left the team. Doug was going to quit. Like, you're not going to disrespect me like that. So he left. And what happened was the head honchos of the league came in and said, no, we need Doug Williams because he's a draw to the league. We need him to bring interest. So they ended up getting rid of the head coach. So, oh, Lord, that's my mom calling.
You fine? You're good.
So, but I say all that to say, unless it's an obvious situation where the coach has lost control, it is clear maybe the lines of communication have just broken down, and it's a very the communication just isn't good. In a situation like that, it's pretty clear where somebody has to go. But did Robert Saleh have to go? Or was that on Aaron Rodgers? Does Doug Pederson have to go, or is that on Trevor Lawrence? Because what it all comes down to, the guys on the field are not getting it done. They're not getting it done.
It's interesting you brought up Trevor Lawrence because he was supposed to be the next, like the one coming into the league, right? And he's kind of just been, I don't want to disrespect him and say middle of the pack, but he's kind of just been, I'd say he's been better than. I say he's a top 15 quarterback, right? With top 10 talent. And we've kind of seen so many different versions of Trevor Lawrence, right? Obviously, we gave him a break for the Urban Meyer year, excuse me.
Yes.
But it seems like he still relatively struggled to recover from that. Or maybe this is just who he is on the NFL level. What's your perspective or your perception of Trevor Lawrence today?
I mean, he's still talented. He's still 6'6" with a good arm, can move around the pocket, and can run a little bit. That hasn't changed. Everything we like about Trevor Lawrence is the same thing we like about Josh Allen. He's got the check boxes. He done marked all the check boxes off, right? But for whatever reason, he just hasn't had that recipe of team players and coaches. He just hasn't had it. When he gets it, you thought it was looking in that direction with Doug Pederson.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, it just kind of fell off, man. It is so difficult to win at this level. It's so difficult to win consistently or be there's a lot of good teams. There's very few great teams. And if you are a great team, how do you stay a great team? That's very difficult to do. It looks like the only people that have figured that out is Andy Reid and Bill Belichick. Maybe you want to throw Marv Levy in there, but at the end of the day, Marv Levy, he got to the Super Bowl 4 times and couldn't win it in a row. So he never won the Super Bowl, but just getting to that championship games 4 years in a row, that is incredible.
Very difficult.
But it's very hard to keep that level of play up there. Even us last year, we get to the Super Bowl in 2017, and what was the phrase that everybody was throwing around? This is the new normal. No, the hell it ain't. The new normal is trying to be as good as you were.
You should save that statement for when you win it the second time. Say that when you win it the second time.
Exactly. You get caught up in that euphoria, forgetting the fact that it is damn difficult to win.
Yeah.
Damn difficult to win. So
and honestly, I took that statement as, we're gonna always be in the mix. It's hard to win it. It's hard to win it every year, right? But I my adult brain took that as, we're always gonna have a chance. We're always gonna make decisions to put us in the dance. You feel what I'm saying? So that's how I took that.
Well, that's what it should be.
Yeah.
Because I look at that, I hate when everybody, this is the team, the sports talk stuff. Can we get back to a Super Bowl? Can Jalen Hurts lead us to a Super Bowl? Is Nick Sirianni the guy to take us back to the Super Bowl and all this kind of stuff? Well, you didn't think neither one of them was going to take you to a Super Bowl in the first place.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you're trying to have a team that is good enough to make it to the playoffs. Don't take it any further than that. Every game is a season. You got to get to the show first. Once you get to the playoff, everybody's slate is wiped clean, and you starting from the same spot.
Right.
Even if you get the bye week. What do they say about the bye week? Oh, well, did you want to keep playing because you want to keep that momentum going? Or are you hurt and you need to, rest up?
It's very dependent on your circumstance, in my opinion. Very dependent, right? If you're a team that just got in and you found your stride, you don't want that bye week.
Correct.
But if you're a team that has the first, if you're a team like the Chiefs or let's say the Eagles get the number 1 seed, right? And there are certain teams that if they get that bye, okay, they'll be fine. But if you're like that wild card team that just got in, you just scraped in, you want to keep this train rolling.
You want to keep it going,
right?
So
can you imagine
every situation is different.
Can you imagine? Remember that Giants team that won the Super Bowl off the wild card run?
Yeah.
Can you imagine if they had a bye?
Wasn't that Eli's first
maybe
one?
Maybe they don't win it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's so many things that go into it, right? I want to ask you this though, right? Speaking of other teams and trends and trying to maintain a new normal, and a lot of teams, we know this is a copycat league, right? And
absolutely,
I feel like the Chiefs were not the first team ever, but I feel like in this era of football or this time rather, I feel like the Chiefs were the first team to really go all in on a youth movement on defense. They were very young the year they won it, the year they beat us, right? That defense was a work in progress all year long, and then they started to find their stride. That team was young on defense, rookie there, right? Joe Karlaftis and Trip McDuff. Like, it was so many young guys on that team, on that defense, and they had a veteran play caller in Spags. And you've kind of seen, to me at least, it seems like the Philadelphia Eagles are the second team or the first team to see that and mirror that in terms of having that veteran defensive mind, and you go and you lean in on the youth movement on defense.
Yeah.
Now, the thing is, what makes it difficult is you got to be able to hit on these players. And on top of that, you got to be able to develop them. It seems like the Eagles are the first team to mirror that successfully. What's your thoughts on the trajectory this defense is currently on? Do you see a similar path as the Chiefs did with that young defense? And again, they got a lot of young guys on a lot of rookie deals that are playing well above their tax bracket. Do you see, just give me your perception on the trajectory of this defense in comparison to that Chiefs defensive evolution?
Kind of. I think the difference is that defense has the best improvisational quarterback that has ever lived. That can pick up a lot of slack.
But wouldn't you say that defense has kind of been carrying them this season?
Yes.
And honestly, a lot of last season too.
Correct. But I'm looking at overall.
Okay.
When you got somebody like Mahomes, it is he can he can put a lot of band-aids on a lot of stuff. But their defense is good, and let's be real, even with their 2 Super Bowl wins, I still think Spags is underrated. Really? I still think he's underrated. Because when we talk about defense, is Kansas City the first place we going? If you're talking to quarterbacks.
For me, I'll be honest, me personally, when I think of defenses, one of the first teams I do think about are the Chiefs. That's just me though.
Right. But in the big scheme of things, when's the last time you heard somebody talking about Spags on Get Up or First Take or Good Morning Football and stuff like that? The narratives go up elsewhere. So I say that, Spags is he's underrated, because if they talked about him like they should talk about him, they would talk about him every damn day. Mm-hmm. So I just think that the Chiefs are in a situation because you got two coaches, offense and defense, that have been there so long, and they are so in tune with their players. That's the other thing. And that is where I look at Nick Sirianni, because I think that's where if he manages to stay past this year, that's where he's going. He's going to be so ingrained with the system.
Are you talking about
what
Fangio?
They're doing? Huh?
Are you talking about Fangio?
Both of them.
Oh, Fangio. Okay. Fangio,
yeah.
Fangio and Kellen.
Right, because I'm looking at Spags and Andy Reid.
Okay.
So now I'm looking at, you know what I'm saying? So I'm looking at the duo of them.
But remember, Fangio said this is last stop. So they're going to have him for as long as he wants to be in the sport. Right. He made that very clear. This is his last stop. So this probably is a recipe. This is probably divine intervention. Fangio, his last stop,
right?
Coupled with these young, spry, defensive, talented players. When you got a defense this young that's playing its well, and they still haven't really gotten to that mountaintop yet, this is the kind of thing that forces this is the kind of thing that extends careers.
Absolutely.
Makes a guy like Fangio say, you know what? Hey, I think I may stick around for a few more seasons. I mean, I know he planned on being here for at least 3 seasons, I'm sure. But
right.
Again, this is the kind of thing that makes a guy just, hey, these guys are getting better. I want to be a part of this. These are my guys. I can have this on my resume when I retire.
And I'll tell you what, man. Shout out to Doug Pederson, because, and again, I think Nick Sirianni is as far as being a people person, because everybody loved Doug. Mm-hmm. Haagen-Dazs and all. But think about Fletch, and you think about BG. Mm-hmm. If BG was drafted this year, or if he was drafted 3 years ago, would he still be in the league? The way his career
That's a good question. That's a good question.
Because he was very slow.
Very fortunate. He was fortunate.
The first 4 or 5 years of his career.
They was going to cut him, I think, right? Or trade him, something like that. But the only reason he got that second shot is because somebody got hurt, and they had to use him at that point.
And that's the way it works.
He never looked back. He never looked back.
That's the way. But also somebody had to believe in him. Because how many times have you seen somebody get hurt, the backup gets in, and then they still cut him the week later after they then finally got a free agent they can sign, or somebody off the waiver wire or something like that? That happens all the time. But my point is that they had enough wherewithal and they had enough faith in Brandon Graham, because of the type of person he is, because of the type of relationship they had together. That means something. And I think Nick Sirianni, for all his little quirks and the stuff that people don't like, mm-hmm. he is building that type of relationship with the players, and people don't understand how much that means, because that's when you can squeeze that last little juice out of that player, because of the relationship, nothing else, because of the relationship you have with that player, that dude will run through the wall for you. He'll give that extra effort for you.
And that's the thing, right? It's like, well, no matter what people on the outside feel, right? No matter what me and you feel, it seems like Nick is very well liked in that organization.
Exactly.
He's very well liked. And I think that's where, and I know you mentioned Doug was like, but there was still a disconnect on the back end with Doug's personality, with, the front office. And, the bottom line is Nick is more malleable to what mm-hmm. they want to do rather than Doug. Doug lead. But it also... Doug led with his ego on the back end, but it's kind of hard not to when you win a Super Bowl, right?
Exactly.
So it's kind of, it's almost like, damn.
I mean, think about this. Nick Sirianni, with no previous coaching experience, went to the Super Bowl in his second year.
Imagine if he would have won it. His ego probably would have been through
the roof. His ego's through the roof now.
No, exactly. Knowing him now. Like, imagine, he would have been unscrupulous. Like, he would have been unhinged, probably.
Dude, one of my teammates from the World League, guy named Jim Ballard. He was our quarterback. He ended up playing in Buffalo for a couple years. Mm-hmm. I had Jim on my podcast when we hired Nick Sirianni because he coached Nick Sirianni at Mount Union.
Wow.
So he knew all about him. And when we hired him, he's the one that told me, shout out to Jim Ballard if you ever watch this. He told me after because I had him on like a couple days after the first press conference and the flowers.
Mm-hmm.
He was like, he said, I'm telling you, dude. He said, give him a chance. He said, trust me. He said, don't get caught up in the press conference. Yes, it wasn't the greatest thing. He said, but trust me, this dude's special. And he was right. So you got to give these people a chance to do what they got to do.
Right.
Sometimes it works, and quite honestly, sometimes it doesn't. We get so caught up in when it does, but we forget how often it does not work. Doug Pederson worked here. It was good until it wasn't. And then he went down there to Jacksonville, and it looked like it was going in the right direction, and then the wheels fell off. So, but you can't tell me them players down there wasn't playing hard.
Right.
You can't tell me the players here last year weren't playing hard. Something just wasn't connecting. And stuff like that matters. Coaching matters. Relationships matters in the locker room. All of that type of stuff that people just pass off as intangibles. Like that stuff comes into play, and that stuff really matters. Just imagine if we had a very divisive locker room, because I've seen those before. And then the whole thing with Slay and CJ Gardner-Johnson happened when he was on Michael's podcast. Just imagine how bad that could have been. But because the locker room is tight, stuff like that don't go too far.
Yeah, and I think I think it's reported that they had a conversation. Like they had a so you bring up a good point, right? You bring up a very good point. This team is tied at the hip right now. And they're all pulling in the same direction. It seems like everybody's buying into their identity, buying into what they want to accomplish on both sides of the ball. You're seeing guys getting healthier, things of that nature. So this team is definitely trending in the right direction. Like I said before, and I'll say it again: the Jacksonville Jaguars are running into a burning building. Little did they realize there's no exit. Now let's get to our keys to the game, players that we expect to light it up, our predictions, things of that nature, right? So give me your keys to the game for the Philadelphia Eagles on both sides of the ball.
Same as usual. Jalen Hurts, don't turn the ball over. Let's establish that line of scrimmage and run the ball first. I think A.J. Brown is going to have a banner day. And the only reason I'm saying that is because Devontae's been out. And not for nothing. I don't know why. I didn't plan on saying this, but look for Jahan Dotson today.
His time is coming. I spoke about that during the
look
middle
for
of the
Jahan
week.
Dotson to get some good run today.
It's funny you say that. He's been putting in extra work after practice. He was working with Smitty and Jamal Singleton on his ball security, right? Whenever he would, so they had that football with the string on it, with the chain on it.
Yeah.
And Smitty, I think, would toss him the ball. And as soon as Jahan get his hands on it, Singleton would snag it.
I saw that. I didn't know what that was. I saw that. Okay, I get it now. I understand the context now.
Yeah, so Dotson's been working on his security, his ball security, right? As far as catching the ball goes. And that, when I saw that, because again, that's the kind of stuff you do after practice.
Little thing.
When I saw that, I said to myself, he gonna have his moment. Yeah. It's coming. It's coming. And I like that this young man has been focusing on the details, even though he hasn't been the target of Jalen Hurts. Right? He's been doing the little things as far as running his routes correctly. Making sure he's focused enough to and see. You played this game before. When the ball don't come your way, it's easy to tune out the game.
Yeah.
And you're just kind of on autopilot. But that hasn't been the case for him. He's been very in tune with his route running. He's been in tune with his responsibilities as far as making sure he gets in the path of the defender so his guy can get open. He's been very in tune with the details of the game. So that's why I haven't been one to kill him. A lot of people aren't paying attention to those details. They're just seeing him not catch the ball or not seeing him get targets, and they're saying, oh, he's trash. And my thing is, although he may not be a focal point of this offense, you can understand why. Look who he's playing with, for one.
Exactly.
And for two, his time will come. And for three, I need him to focus on doing the little things above all else right now. Because again, when that ball comes your way, you better be ready. So I like that he's been putting in extra work after practice, and you may be onto something. This could be a game where Dotson does get opportunities, especially if this team gets up and they get into a rhythm. This could be a game where Dotson maybe snags four catches, maybe 60 yards, maybe you never know. You never know how it may go, but I think Dotson's time is coming. It's just a matter of when. So yeah, I definitely agree with you on that. So
I saw somebody said that this might be the worst trade that Howie's done, and I was like, "There's no way you can say that.
No way you can say that.
There's no way you can say that right now because
that's so hyperbole. You can tell when someone's trying to sell something or trying to get
Jahan Dotson.
It's so hyperbole.
He could not make a catch all year. He makes one catch in the playoffs, and the whole outlook changes. Yeah. And
it's so hyperbolic.
Let us not forget, he's only 24,
and he's on a rookie deal. He's cost controlled for the next 2 seasons minimum.
Right now, Jahan Dotson is the offensive version of Isaiah Rodgers.
Yes. That's interesting. I didn't think about it like that.
The situation is different.
Interesting.
They were both starters and pretty good at their former team.
Right.
And then situations happen. You know what happened with Isaiah Rodgers?
Mm-hmm.
He's been itching at a chance to play. I think he's going to ball out today.
Mm-hmm.
And Jahan Dotson is in the same boat. I think I don't know what the situation was with him, but when people get drafted number 1, there is a reason you got drafted number 1. Now maybe it didn't manifest the way that everybody thought it was, but you just don't leave. You don't lose that skill. You don't lose the ability to catch. And every week that he's on this team, that just means he's getting comfortable with the offense.
Yeah, they tried. So, I think the rumor was that he exercised a lack of focus during training camp. I guess he felt like he wasn't being treated in a way that was
commensurate with his being number 1 pick.
Yeah,
ego got in the way.
Ego got away a little bit, and they felt like they felt like his focus wasn't there. Hence why they decided to move on from him. But I haven't seen a player with like a focus right now. I haven't seen what they've been talking about.
You know what's funny? It's funny how they say that about him, but they didn't say that about Brandon Ayuk.
I mean, Brandon Ayuk, you're right. You bring up a good point.
So it's all the narrative, but it's all the same thing. At the end of the day, you are not going to tell me this kid does not want to play.
Mm-hmm.
And he does not want to make a contribution.
Yeah.
So his time is coming. And again, he's 24 years old. So we're going to hold that against him from what he did as an undisciplined rookie or whatever the situation was. Mm-hmm. Happens all the time.
Yeah.
And a lot worse than him.
Definitely. Shout out to our girl, Dominique Mason, with the 499 super chat. We appreciate you, sis. She said, I'm late. I'm going to the game. Sorry if I missed this, but please tell me what y'all think we need to do to make sure we win this game. Coach, you want
Saquon left, Saquon right.
Saquon left, Saquon right. Hey, AJ. Bombs over Baghdad. You feel me? So, Dominique, honestly, I think this game for the Philadelphia Eagles, dominate the trenches early. Lean on what got you there. Lean on your run game. Lean on your play action. Jalen Hurts, as of right now, I think he's second in the league in play action efficiency. Lean on your play action game. Feed your wolves. I don't think this game requires such a robust or complicated game plan. I think you go in there with damn near the same game plan you had against the Bengals offensively, that is, and just dominate them. Quite frankly. Agree. So that's pretty much how I look at it, Dominique. Dominique, thank you so much for your super chat. I appreciate your support. Be safe on your way to the game. Have fun. Take plenty of pictures.
Yes, sir.
We appreciate you. All right, let's get to our predictions before we close, right? Let's get to your bold prediction for the game, and then you're going to get to your score prediction. So do you have any bold predictions for this matchup?
Isaiah Rodgers gets a pick.
Ooh. Is that bold?
Isaiah and Q.
Oh, double up. Okay, there we go. That's bold. There we go. All right, okay. Let me see what I got. Let me see what I got in the tuck. My bold prediction for today. Nolan Smith gets a strip sack.
Nice.
And N'Kobe gets a pick 6 in the same game.
I like that.
That's
N'Kobe owes me one too.
That's bold as hell. if
he
that
dropped
ain't
that
bold,
one
I
against
don't know what
Green
it
Bay in
is.
Brazil. He
For
still
sure.
owes me one.
For sure. So I'm gonna say Kobe get a pick 6 somehow, and Nolan get a strip sack. Eagles recover.
I like that.
So
I
there
like
we
that.
go. There we go. All right, what's your score prediction, brother?
I'm going 33-10.
That's crazy. I was thinking 33. I wasn't thinking 10 for them, but I was definitely thinking 33 for the Eagles. I'll be a little different though. I'll say the Eagles win this game. I'll say the Eagles win this game 34-13. I think they win this game by 21 points. Handily.
I like that.
Yeah, 34-13. And you said 33-10?
33-10.
Okay. All right. We're going to revisit that. You guys, we appreciate y'all so much for locking in on the show. Thank you guys for being patient with us. Again, we know we normally do these things earlier in the morning, but I had some things to take care of on the beginning of my day. But I appreciate you guys for locking in as always. My man, as Blunt says, scores 31-17. Player of the game, A.J. Brown. Shaver says 27-20 Eagles. They gave the Packers problems last week, but the Packers ain't us.
Facts.
Burmy 777 says, with his
Dotson
bold
has a
prediction,
touchdown.
Dotson gets a touchdown. Okay. All right. Yeah, we appreciate y'all, man. We appreciate the love. We appreciate the hate. We appreciate the good, the bad, the ugly, the indifferent. Listen, life is not life without it. Make sure you guys lock in with Pro Fan Talk. My man, Coach Marcus, is doing great things over at his channel, Pro Fan Talk. Make sure you guys smash the like button. Please, once again, go subscribe. And by the way, subscribe to Pro Fan Talk. He's doing amazing work, great work. As you guys can see, he knows his stuff. He's played the game. He's giving you that insight. He's breaking down film. He's breaking down the businesses. He's breaking down the industry as a whole, the interior, the exterior. He's getting into WNBA, NFL, Eagles. He's giving you guys such a robust smorgasbord of sports content. Make sure you guys continue to lock in with my man, Coach Marcus at Pro Fan Talk.
Here we go.
We
didn't even get a chance. Y'all. We didn't even get a chance to talk about Kelsey.
Yo, that was crazy, wasn't it? That was crazy, wasn't it?
That was crazy. The kid had it coming though.
Had it coming.
He had it coming. You
found him. You this close to his neck, basically, with a phone.
Talking about, found out.
Hey, your brother's. You know what I mean? Yo. First of all, I'm sorry.
That he crossed the line.
You crossed the line. You could listen. And if you notice, like he clearly was like, I'm pretty sure he heard more than just that.
Yeah,
but
he was walking fast.
He was walking fast, like he was just trying to.
He was trying to get out of it, and the kid crossed the line. So,
and my thing is, Kelsey is one of those. The Kelseys, they show so much love to everybody. They're not like polarizing figures, if you ask me. They show love to people. You feel me?
Yeah. Buy the kid a new phone and keep it pushing.
Listen, man.
But
I love how Kelsey broke it and picked it up and kept it and walked away. Yeah. He said, yeah, who's the maggot now? Who's the maggot now? Yeah, stop playing with me. See,
so I hope he don't get in trouble or anything like that, because you already know somebody gonna try to lawyer up with that kid.
Listen,
somebody is.
Listen, what they gonna listen? Oh, what you gonna do? I didn't touch him. Oh yeah, I paid him out for the phone. All right, whatever. All right, whatever. I didn't assault him. I didn't touch him. What are we talking about? He left with his legs. He good. So man, listen, man. I'm tired of people thinking that these athletes are just mannequins that you can just scream at and say what you want. Like, you gonna listen. You got to be prepared in life that there's always one person that's willing to crash out.
That's gonna try to.
There's always somebody that's willing to go take. There's always somebody that's willing to take it further than you.
Did you see this? The same exact thing happened to Denzel Washington.
Denzel. And Denzel was a grown ass man.
Denzel went New York on him. He was like, "We can do it either way."
Yeah, he said, "Look,
I'm not the one.
I'll talk to y'all when I leave, or I won't." Now that's up to y'all. We can do it either way, but right now, fall back. Okay, I see you. I hear you. So it's just like people getting tired of this, man. They're getting tired of it. But nonetheless, man, shout out to Jason Kelsey, man. The Don. It takes me back to when his wife had to check that lady in the parking lot. Remember?
Big time.
The Kelseys are not chumps.
They're not the ones.
They're not the ones.
Hey, that Mike Tyson quote, man. Social media has made everybody comfortable with saying anything they want without getting punched in the face.
Right. Listen, I grew up when social media wasn't a thing. The early social media we had was like MySpace, AIM, all that kind of stuff.
Bro.
But I remember life without social media. I remember when you had to answer for the shit you said. You feel what I'm saying?
I grew up in the 70s, bro. Hose water and freeze tag, son.
I grew up on hose water. Hold on, wait. I grew up on hose water too. You know what I'm saying? I grew up on hose water.
Hose water and freeze tag, bro.
For sure. My mom used to be like, boy, if you don't come in the house and get a bottle of water, I said, I don't feel like coming in. I'm like, shh.
Yes, sir.
Oh, man. Shout out to you, Coach Marcus, man. I appreciate you, big dog. Shout out to the Kelsey. Shout out to all y'all. Smash that like button. Make sure you guys go subscribe to Pro Fan Talk. Make sure you guys are subscribed to myself as well at Chalk It Up Sports, where no matter if we win or if we lose, we just got to charge it to the game. There you have it, you guys. Your Philadelphia Eagles are 5-2, soon to be 6-2. And we're having Jaguar today for dinner. So make sure you bring your bib. Make sure you bring your own fork because it's going to get real messy, man, and we don't know if we can feed everybody. And other than that, this has been your Philadelphia Eagles pregame show. He's Coach Marcus from Pro Fan Talk. I'm your guy, Tony, the show's the second from Chalk It Up Sports. Hey, Marcus, spin that record, man.
Fly like an eagle soaring in the sky. Tony Marcus always standing by. Bringing that heat, call it do or die. Philly squad, hear the battle cry. Fly like an eagle soars in the sky. Tony Marcus always standing by. Bringing that heat, call it do or die. Philly squad.